Welcome to Path to Recovery. I am Apryl Chapman Thomas, chatting with Spuddy for Shaw today with Spuddy's Cajun Cooking and Spuddy's Cajun Foods. Thank you for joining us. Before we get started, tell our listeners a little bit about the restaurant and about your cooking experience.
Okay, so let's go back to 1993 when we actually started. Okay, and I was a computer programmer before then. Burnout, went into sales, sold paper and janitorial supplies, but always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Wound up here in 1993. Business, I took an old meat market, turned it into a restaurant. We did really well for many, many years. Video poker was the key back then because, as you know, when you first start, you're not making money, and video poker was our saving grace. And until they made the truck stops. And since 1993, we've just been through, went from a little small two-table restaurant until we hold 60, 70 people. Now we're back down to the restaurant's probably not going to survive, which is why we're doing the Cajun cooking experience. And it's survived, multiple things. Second year in business, my wife losing her job. And then a bridge that changed our traffic flow, took 70% of the traffic away from me. BPR, that was another one. Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Gustav, two serious electrical storms that fired every electronic in my place. And you just name it, it just kept popping. And now we get COVID. We fought last year through the traffic flow changing where we just couldn't make any money at the restaurant anymore. And I had started already going to tour guide school, learning what happens in the tour industry business, and then starting the Cajun cooking experience. Taking off the ground. It is really taking off. And then all of a sudden, I bought that takeoff because COVID just blocked the runway.
But you did something incredible. You didn't let it block you for too long. You went to Facebook Live, correct?
So one day I get a phone call and there was some boom and he says, "Buddy, everybody's doing this Facebook Live thing. You ought to try doing some cooking show." Scared. I'm talking about I had this fear of like, what the hell to do? Not to talk to the camera, it didn't bother me. The fear of what to do. So kept doing research. I didn't understand Facebook Live. I didn't understand Facebook. So I started researching. If you go back and look at the first one to the one I do now, you'll see the difference, but it's just a matter of getting started. And the first show we cooked gumbo, made a roux cooked gumbo. And it was successful. Right now it's still the most watched one that we have. With the camera standing up and the phone standing up and down in a little narrow picture, and everything's backwards because I have the phone the wrong way, and now we're on our 40. I think tomorrow's going to be show number 45.
Wow. Now, do you do these weekly, monthly? What's the process?
Bi-weekly. We started off Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that when we thought we was going to come out of COVID. Because I go to Adoration Chapel on Tuesday morning at 2 o'clock in the morning. That was going to be a long day, so I had to get off on Tuesday. Thursday, I have a bunch of guys. We have a camp supper, and they drink and I cook something for them. And that was coming back Thursday, so I moved it to Wednesday and Sunday. And tomorrow's show is normally at 6:30 in the evening. Tomorrow's going to be at 2 o'clock, because for 6 years before I started all of the Cajun cooking experience, my dad was at the Southeast Louisiana Veterans Home, and he had Alzheimer's, and I was there Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock at night for 6 years, never missed. And we can't go anymore. We can't go see them anymore. I have a lot of friends there, so we're going to actually do this at 2 o'clock for the veterans. Nobody can see them. They're basically, you're in Unit 3, you stay in Unit 3. Whatever unit you're on, you can't go in the halls, you can't mingle. There's no entertainment. So tomorrow, I guess I'm going to be that entertainment.
Well, that's excellent. Now, how did you get the word out about it? Was it just you told people on Facebook and it's sort of like a phone tree?
So we did, what I've learned is You do events. You get your Facebook message out, and then you send an event invitation out, and you just put it on your Facebook page. And I have, I think, 3 Facebook pages. One for me personally, one for Spuddy's Cajun Foods, and then one for the Cajun Cooking Experience. And I make sure it gets shared amongst all of them. And then once it starts, and when we started this, people were looking for something to do. We were sheltered in place, phase 0, can't do anything. So people were really looking for something to do. And I've got so many thank yous for, man, so thank you so much for doing this. And we've never collected a penny, but we never asked anybody because it's me giving back. It'll pay off for itself one day in the future, but it's my way of giving back, which I've always done, which I enjoy doing, and it's giving me a lot of exposure. But I enjoy doing it, and I do it my way. It's not, believe me, it's not the typical cooking show.
So what's the most you've had watching you so far?
130 was the most live.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Gumbo show right now has, and the Facebook statistics, I don't really understand a lot about them, but people going in and clicking on the show and actually watching it for more than a minute or whatever is over 26,000 of it. So a lot of people are at least going in and clicking on it, looking at it. They're long. That will turn people off because they are long. They're not these little 10, 15-minute little things where, okay, we're making a roux, we come back and the roux's finished. We actually walk you through making the roux, I do a lot of research. It's like giving a tour. I am giving you a tour. I am giving you the history of the food, the history of our community, the history of the people that are involved with this food, the history of the culture that are involved with this food. Going back as, however far back we have to go. Where did this food start? Why do we have it? And then I'll just keep giving the history lesson all while I'm cooking. I'm not stopping. I'm cooking and talking and talking and cooking. And people really love the history. I've gotten a few comments. There was a history teacher somewhere, and he said, I'm a history teacher. I think he was in Tennessee. And he goes, I'm very impressed. Whoa.
So what do you like most about it? Is it the outreach? What do you like most about doing this?
I like it. So years and years ago, I can remember cutting grass in my house. It takes me about an hour to cut my grass. So as I cut grass, my wheels are always turning. And I used to always picture myself teaching people how to cook. It's always been a passion of mine. People come to me and say they want a recipe. I say, no, bring yourself in my kitchen and come cook it with me. I said, that's the way to learn. I can write it down for you. I can't tell you everything I do. I don't know everything I do because I'm just doing it. So I tell people, come with me in my kitchen and I'll teach you. And I'll talk to people like this. And they go, oh, you're gonna hide your secret. Man, there's no secrets. Come on, you're gonna watch what I do. I'm serving this to the public when we finish. It's gonna be good. So my passion is to teach people. This is where I want to be in the future. This is what I loved about the Cajun cooking experience. People came in my kitchen. They come into my kitchen and they actually cook the food. They make on do it. They put their hands in the meat and they mix the meat. All this. They get the stuff in the casing. Then we make a roux. We make a gumbo. We cook a jambalaya. And they learn, not only do they cook it, but they learn the history behind those food and why it's so different than anywhere else in the world. They get to feel that. When they leave, they understand, they actually feel why it's different. And I've been told it. That's what I'm doing.
Now you're moving to Zoom. You're also going to offer this on Zoom. What's the new thing with Zoom?
So Zoom is coming. It's number one, I have to get better at it. I ordered this laptop. I got this really high power laptop. I hate it. I have to send it back. It's going to delay me again. Another thing that's going to delay me a little bit, because I'm getting a laptop that I can dedicate 100% to Zoom, and I want to be able to put my webcam on the tripod so I can focus in on the cooking. But my webcam won't work in this computer for some reason. So we're going to work through that. Zoom is coming soon. That's going to be the paid version. What that's going to do, we're going to send you a menu, a recipe. You don't get a recipe right now with it free. We're going to send you a recipe. We're going to send you a shopping list. We're going to tell you everything you need, and you're going to cook along with it. We'll slow it down. This will be like being in my kitchen doing the Cajun cooking experience, and you'll be able to talk back and ask questions. And so you'll actually be able to do it. This is bringing it down to ground level. Right now, when I do the cooking show, we're at high level. We're at the bird's eye view. I'm just blowing through it. Still cooking it, but I have no feedback. Facebook Live is just people giving comments. So basically, it's just a watch video. So Zoom is going to give almost like a hands-on, the best we can.
So what has this COVID experience taught you in your business?
What is the Cajun cooking experience taught you?
Yeah, no, I mean, what is this experience, the COVID experience, I'm sorry, has taught you with your business? What have you learned?
You know, I almost feel like I was prepared because so many things happened here over the years that basically should have shut me down. Really, there's no way if I sit down and write everything down, you'll say there's no way that you can make it. So it taught me that I learned this a long time ago. When you're gonna get hit with something, you're gonna get blindsided. You're gonna get hit back the head, and you're not gonna see what hit you, and you're never gonna find out who did it. You have to be prepared. You always have to have that backup plan. What are you gonna do? Because we have hurricanes. Anytime this could have been blown away. I had a tornado hit me one time. Took my kitchen, put a building on top of my kitchen, shut me down for 2 months. BPR, as long as they showed the oil well on the TV, they kept that 24-hour picture of the oil spewing. As long as they showed that, nobody would eat seafood. The minute the TV shut it off and said it was capped, everybody came back to seafood. So we went through about 3 months of not selling seafood. That was my money maker. At that time I had a seafood market, and we sold seafood in the restaurant. That was a killer. You just have to keep persevering and have that backup plan, and also be able to financially make it through all those. So you have to prepare for it. So COVID really taught me that you can get blindsided by anything, anytime, and you have to be prepared, and you have to set yourself up mentally, financially, be prepared for anything. Because if you're not, you never know how long this is going to get you. And we still don't know. You still have no idea if you're going to make it or not. But we're still fighting it. 6 months, 7 months later, we're still in the fight. We're still throwing punches. So, and that's from years of experience and years of planning. So it's taught me to always be prepared for anything.
Is there anything that you wish you knew then that you knew now?
Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. If I can go back 25 years ago and know what I know today. So going into business, I'm 36 years old. I'm high energy right now at 62. So I'm same way at 36, but I can go a lot longer. And I'm wide open. And I'm doing things by the seat of my pants. And sometimes, instead of thinking it through, a lot of times you're just doing it. The biggest thing I've learned, people would come and say, I went to New Orleans and they had this sandwich and people are outside for miles. And they can't wait to get it. And they're making a fortune on it. You need to put it in your place. No, you don't. You need to do what works for you. And I went to try everything on the menu over all these years. And basically at the end of my restaurant days, I was back to my first menu. I was back to my basic menu. Your community supports. We don't have a community that grows. It's basically we have a rural environment. It's a rural town, and a lot of the people that I started with, they're still here. There's no new people coming in, so their habits didn't change. And I remember we should do a Valentine's special. I would buy April. I had the best steaks in the world. These steaks were awesome. They were Ruth Chris grade. I'm serious. And Valentine's, I had to learn. They weren't coming to my place for Valentine's. They would come for lunch. They would come with their kids at night on a romantic dinner, lunch, nighttime. That wasn't, not here, not here. So no matter how good that steak was, I couldn't pull it there. And that's when I learned you are who you are. And then you have to work within those confines. The second thing, when we had Subway, they closed down. When I learned about name recognition, I'm gonna make a Spudway, man. I'm gung ho. I spent $30,000, and I set up a sandwich line. I go sit in Subways. I sit inside the Quiznos, and I'm watching everything they do, and I mimic the cheap. I had a lady came here about 3 months after I had it going, and she said, "Spuddy," she was eating fried chicken. I come here for factory. I come here for my, this is my pleasure food. When I want Subway, I go to Subway. That's the day I learned about the power of name recognition. Yes, I wish I could carry it back, but I know today.
Now, what advice would you give those who are maybe experiencing the same thing you are right now? What advice would you give them?
Somebody, same thing as that. So watch, know what works in your community. If you're going to try something, new. Ease into it, try it, see if it works. But don't spend a fortune on trying to do something that's not your community. You really have to know and understand your community. You can't be everything. Here's the biggest thing about an entrepreneur, especially a single entrepreneur, high energy, you can't hold them back. You can't be everything. That was the hardest thing for me to learn. Because in my mind, I not only could be everything, I could do everything, and nothing could stop me. And years and experience teach you that that's not true. Because you waste a lot of time and energy trying to be all those things. Be the best at who you are instead of being pretty good at everything you try to do. That would be a #1 lesson I would teach any person going into this business.
Well, excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Spuddy. Really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.